when you came to this park, the great gasp would greet you right at the entrance with a massive skyline, which was pretty impeccable when you see it from this point of view. As you can see here in this image, this is the past before. Excuse the holiday in the park sign there, because it is that time. But back in the day, it used to be quite different. If you came here as well, the sign looks just a little bit different, and it had the Six Flags logo right there. Pretty cool, as multiple people come to drive in on the last day of the season. Just looking back a little bit to, you know, with the new year, to reflect on what Six Flags Over Georgia was. Pretty cool. So the promenade looked a little bit different before Coaster Candy came into play. As you can see there, and excuse all the festive lights that are going on, but going back a few years, it looked quite different with a different store, a different setup with the promenade, as you can see here in the picture. And the reason I can tell is it's lined up pretty closely exact, as you can see, as I'm holding it in real life, and as you look at the comparison picture, they look quite similar, but quite different at the same time. Placed before you, the promenade going a different direction towards the exit looked a little bit different before as well, as the Looney Tunes store still stood there and all the infrastructure there. As I lay this out for you guys, it looks quite similar and pretty amazing still. I think Main Street here is quite beautiful. So Twisted Cyclone wasn't always here. It's new for 2018, that is, and the structure of this looked a little bit different as Twisted is going up and about right now, which is an amazing ride, but it was Georgia Cyclone before. You can see the paint difference is there. Of course, the peak is no longer there. The Dippin' Dots has been removed. Even the ground is different over here. They added multiple seating here in front of the restaurant, outside of Twisted, for more people to sit. Made the walkway actually quite bigger. But as it's laid out here, everything is still pretty much in place. The infrastructure is all similar, except Georgia Cyclone, and the multitude of the ride has been removed, about 60% of it, but it is still an incredible RMC, one of the shorter ones. But overall, I like the change, and this one I definitely approve of. Even Dahlonega Mine Train looks completely different from the 1960s. They added the bushes, the shrubbery. This light pole is now here, but you can see the fence is still the same, but a different color. The trees, being wintertime, are, you know, doing its wintertime thing. They'll be back in the spring. Excuse the loud music and the talking, but overall, it looks pretty similar from back in the day, and this excites me a lot. I really like how even the sign is different, but you can see the pole sticking out of the building is still similar, and the shape right there, as you can see in the picture, everything's pretty much the same, but it was a different color back in the day, but a still fun mine train ride. Awesome. Bugs Bunny Boomtown wasn't always Bugs Bunny Boomtown. The kids area, which actually was one of two, is actually Bugs Bunny World. Including the ground was different. There was a fountain back there, as you can see in the picture. Everything is completely different. The fountain's gone, the walkway's different, including the rides. It used to be a Spanish theme that I actually quite enjoyed. That went away, what, 3-4 years ago? And they changed it up to this, and this is the only kids area currently at the moment. I miss the old Bugs Bunny World Spanish location. This one will suffice. It'll do. This one, it's kind of bare, doesn't have many attractions, has a lot of empty space, but it's not a bad one. The Crystal Pistol, as you can see in the picture, with the M&M facelift back in the day, and you can see the people going up in the stairs, which is pretty amazing, as it matches up in sync with the picture. This was not planned out, but the Crystal Pistol, an amazing theater overall, with the festive theme currently, and it's still a fun time. Also, the Crystal Pistol looked a little bit different back in the day, the 60s or 70s, as you can see in this image here. The pole right here wasn't there for the sky buckets, or was it? It had this blue infrastructure, looks like a speaker, and also you can see the building is still the same, and the trees have now grown in. Everything is quite similar as people gathered in to go into the Crystal Pistol. This is quite amazing to see, to look back. But the whole building, as I mentioned, the structure is still similar. It is pretty awesome. So it seems to be that back in the day at Six Flags Over Georgia, there's a walk-through horror maze attraction called the Horror Cave. It was in the kids area. Come to believe that it was right here in this area, kind of based off of the tree line that we're trying to match up. Of course, they went through a facelift and tore down some trees to build up, and some things are different, but we're thinking that it was right here. If you guys been here in the past and went through the Horror Cave attraction, let us know in the comment section below. Was it right here? Interesting. As you can see, located here at the Speedy Gonzales boat ride, you can see the mine train infrastructure right there with the track. There were a lot more trees back there before, but the little aviators, if anybody remembers that, was located here prior. As you can see in the picture, the fence is a different color, the theming's different. Them buying the Looney Tunes. Everything's still pretty much similar, but there's no longer the little aviators. It's quite different now. To point out, even the mirror is still there, which is so cool from back in the day. The mirror for this ride is still placed right there. Wow, it's just really impressive to see how some things are still the same from the past and now in 2020. So, once upon a time, there was an area that you could go into right in there that was called the Carrot Club. You could see the sign in the past. The picture was right here, but all the vents, all this little indent is right there. The coaster, which was the Wile E. Coyote coaster, now it's the Joker coaster. Everything, they had like the umbrella, the shades over there. Everything is pretty much the same, but it's much different in this area, and this is really cool. This was a harder find to find in the park, and it's so amazing to see it now. Wow, if you look at the past and the present, things are all bare bones, and it's completely different, but it's all the same at the same time. Pretty amazing. The Joker Funhouse coaster, once before, as I mentioned, was the Wile E. Coyote coaster. Some things, the structure of this building is definitely similar, it's the same, but this one is really crazy how much it's changed. The pile of Looney Tune cartoon rocks from the desert were right here. You can see the fence, the layout of it is still the same, but it was made out of good theming wood. The Acme rockets were right here before, but you can see where the eyes were of the Joker were just windows, and even you can see the layout right there. The windows that were here are no longer there, and the light pole has now been added. Different trees, as you can see right there, have been removed. The water tower is no longer there. Everything's much different, but also the same at the same time. They let the trees grow and planted them. This one was really fun to discover because it's a really great coaster, one of the best coasters. Nice family coaster here in the park, but this was a lot different before. But it's cool to find it here, and wow, I'm just having a good time finding this. Once upon a time, there was an animal action show, a dolphin show here. I can place a picture right here for you all, as the pole is still there, but the rock structure, it seemed like this area was stadium status seating, where it was dug down a little bit. The rocks are still the same, and the pole for the sky buckets remain, and a huge massive structure laid there for the animal action show, back by the kids area. As you walk through the DC and Friends kids area, this is where it was located. The water was placed over there, as you can see in the picture, and the stadium status seating was right there. You would walk down to just watch everybody on the stage. It was placed right here, once upon a time, back in the day, at Six Flags Over Georgia. Rest in peace to Splashwater Falls. Once upon a time, this ride was a super soaker. I do miss it. It was pretty basic, but you're talking about in the prime summertime. The queue lines for this thing were outrageous. Look at the splash, look at the water. It looked way better before, and I'm hoping that another amazing attraction or coaster will come here. Even the beautiful water that would be right down there. People would stand on the bridge and just stand to wait to get soaked as the boat came on down, splashing. What a memory, and it's been gone for a few years now, a couple of years, but I do miss it, miss my water rides, love my water rides, and hope we get something special here soon. So if you're enjoying yourself here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because it really does help this channel grow. Also, let's continue on with more adventures, looking at the past and continuing on with 2020 and beyond. Let's keep going. Even the Superman area looked a little bit different, as the pictures that are on the wall placed back there are quite different and have changed. Still Superman themed, of course, but have changed. But what still remains, the Superman S on his chest logo. The lighting fixtures are different, the lamps. There was also, as you can see in the picture, there was a phone booth placed there. Even the trash cans that were located right there are different themed. If you look at them now, they're just very basic, but the ones before, as you can see in the picture, were very well themed, nicely shaped, Superman themed, Disney-like. Pretty impressive how, looking through at the past, at this scope, things are also quite similar, but different. The Great American Screen Machine, one of my favorite Woodies out there in the world. If you look here in this past picture, there was a sign with a huge gathering of people that said, the Great American Screen Machine, the sign for this wonderful ancient coaster. You can see as I line up the picture, the reason I know this is located here is because of the drop and how it goes up the bunny hill. So everything's pretty much the same, but wow. I would really wish that this sign was still here, but if you turn to the right a little bit, it's the entrance to Hurricane Harbor. I believe the sign was about right here, and people gathered and had like a test your strength type of game there, and the sign was located, if I'm not mistaken, just about there as I line up the photos. Pretty amazing. Here's a good throwback for you all. Before Justice League Battle for Metropolis Metropolis Park was located right there in the past. Not here in 2020, but before. And as you can see in the past photo, as I line it up, you can see the loops there from Superman Ultimate Flight are right there. What a throwback. This part is really crazy. In the back, in the Justice League Metropolis area, where Metropolis games are, as you can see in this picture, it was completely different and very Confederate Southern themes, where it said the Cotton States Exposition. This whole section back here was themed to that. As you can see, again in the photo, it dipped down where the people are sitting right there, is where the people were standing, and there was a railroad track with the sign right there, and it dipped further down where you see the bushes near where it said in the photo skee ball, where now it says Metropolis Games. This is crazy to find this part, and wow, how much this park has changed. Within the backdrop, you have trees along with Superman Ultimate Flight. Insane how things have changed over the years. This is a great throwback, especially how old the picture looks. Crazy. Taking it back for you Six Flags original fans, you might recall a nice ride called the Wheelie, located back here in the Lick Skillet area where Skyscreamer currently soars above. But if you look at the photo here, right there in the past, you can see this is where it was located. How it had the circle structure, and it's pretty similar, the fence, the gate around it. So it used to go around right there and then uplift and turn like that. So we're actually getting this again. The Whip, the Catwoman ride is coming here this year, next season in 2020. And I'm super excited for it. But this is definitely a different scenery here. Excuse the carousel behind me, but it's really cool. You can see the house building is the same in the back. This building is a little bit different in the Lick Skillet area, but it is now yellow. But everything else is pretty similar. But Mother Nature has come in and the trees have grown in massively. But you can still get this overhead point of view from the carousel It is pretty magnificent to see where the wheelie was located, and it was a ride that was quite amazing and very well missed. But as I mentioned again, here in 2020, next season that is, the new Catwoman whip is coming in the Gotham City area, taking it back and forth in Deja Vu days. Deja Vu, as you can see in the picture here. But yet, they were above elevated on this bridge, if I'm not mistaken. And you got the Holiday in the Park theming over there. But getting back to business. Where Pandemonium currently lies, this wonderful monster Vekoma coaster used to lie. Right here, back in the park, where Pandemonium now sits. You can see here, the building right there, Kickin' Chicken, is still there. You can see the outskirts of it. And right there, where the inside of the sky buckets lie. Just posting right here for you guys. It is pretty amazing to go back and forth. Didn't I say that before? Because, oh yeah, having deja vu. Does anybody remember where Pandemonium's sign is now? Of course there was deja vu before, but does anybody recall Whistle Stop Park? Also was the home location of Thomastown, where they had Thomas the Train back here. As you can see in the photo, the sign looked quite different beforehand, but that's the past and this is the present and beyond, 2020. It's looking really bright as Pandemonium, new for 2019, that is, now resides here. And it is quite a thrilling ride, especially a good breezy summer attraction. Let me know in the comment section below if anybody remembers Whistletown Park. So I don't have an exact location, but I know it was located right here, where the go-karts are, in the back of the park, where Pandemonium is. This used to be the back second entrance to Six Flags Over Georgia. Yes, people, yes. There were two entrances to this park. It used to be right here. Now, if you know this, you believe this to be true, because it is true for one. But another reason to make you believe is because if you park in that parking lot right there, and might add, especially during the summertime, it's really hot and it's really far away. You gotta walk all the way around there to the front of the park of the entrance, the main entrance. Now, you're like, why is that such a long walk? That's because in that parking lot back there, like I mentioned, there used to be a second entrance for you to park back there and then walk straight in here. As you can see in the photo, this was it back in the day. So way back when. I wish they would bring that back, because not many people ride these go-karts because they are a extra upcharge, but yet they are fun. But we'll see what the future holds for Six Flags Over Georgia. But guys, there was a second entrance. So Monster Mansion used to be Monster Plantation, and before that it was the Tales of the Okefenokee. You can see the sign is pretty similar, but it has the new paint job right there compared to the ugly brown. And also, of course, it doesn't say Plantation. And look at the main character up there. He still has the nice little blazer on, but now he is facing to the right. Rather, before, as you see in the picture, he was facing us and had a white-like blazer on. And the canopy tent thing behind was different, but now it's just a solid green. So things are much different now than they were before, and I actually approve of this change, mightily. There used to be Looney Tunes Land, as you can see right here in the picture. The reason I know this is here is because if you look right there at the bottom, that path still remains, and that ice cream stand had to have been right here. So the archway had to have remained right there that said Looney Tunes Lands right about there. Because if you look, that path goes around similar to the same in the picture, so nothing has changed. But Primo's Pizza was not there. It had another area for you to go in this building right here, the gift shop. The souvenir store for heroes was not there before. Really cool to find this one. Obviously the trees, there's still trees there, but they're quite different. Things are definitely different. Things have changed, and it was a lot more colorful back then when this was a one area Looney Tunes Land. I may be butchering this, but where the Rabun Gap train station is. It currently says Santa Claus Cabin because it is holiday in the park season, wintertime. But as you can see before, it looked quite different minus the garland and the festive theme. As you can see right here in the photo, it had an ancient look with this forest green that you can see there. And now it has the sky blue and a nice purple to it. I like the new outlook of it. The exterior is quite nice. It is still a cool train station that they can upgrade the train ride a little bit, but it does give you great knowledge and history, so I do approve and I like it. But here's a look at the past and the present of this train station here at Six Flags Over Georgia. So with that being said, what do you think of the past with Jocelyn right here? What do you guys think of the past of this park so far? If you enjoy yourself, just keep on viewing, and don't forget to look me up on Instagram as well. We're gonna hit up the USA area and see what the past looked like there, because it was very 40s and 50s theme, and a lot has changed. Look at this landscape, as I'm about to show you guys. Keep enjoying. So once upon a time, there used to be like an animated puppet show right here. Right outside of where Goliath is, used to be the Great Gasp. Used to go up there, used to be a parachute ride. But if you look here, and I think I got the right location, because you go around there, you get the Midway Games, and where this Midway game was, were the basketball hoops, right there. So right here, where this bunch of games are, is where the wagon would be. I believe so. But on the other side, because it's hard to get this angle, and of course this wasn't there, the parachutes will probably be right there. So I think this is a great find to find Buford the Buzzard. The USA area looks a lot different. As you can see in this past photo right here, as I line it up for you, the reason I know this is here is look at Attitudes. The exterior of it is right there, and Daredevil Dive wasn't there. It used to be a drive-in theater. Really, really different, really cool. As Daredevil Dive goes down, you can see the infrastructure right there on the side, matched up by Daredevil Dive. The whole landscape looked different, and also where Flight School was, or is right now, you can see it was a tan building back then. That also showed the movies that were playing, and it displayed them right there. This is a pretty cool find in the USA section of what it looked like in the past. Located right here, again on the other side where Daredevil Dive Flight School is, this is a closer look at where, as you can see in the picture, where the drive-in theater sign was located, and the theater was there in the back at the queue line of Daredevil Dive. This is pretty cool, with Gotham City there behind it. Located right here in the USA area where Daredevil Dive is. Excuse, they got the Bad Bob Humbug show, holiday show going on right there, with Goliath in the back and Daredevil Dive. Used to be the location of Shake, Rattle, and Roll right there, which was the old Scrambler ride, which had Elvis Presley in it. Pretty cool. My wife found it really, really fun, and I think it's a good time. The reason I know it's at this location is because of the Flight School building right here and how it was located and shaped. It was tan before, and then you can see the hump of Goliath. So it went away fairly recently here in the 2000s, but this is where the location was of that ride, the Scrambler. But we are getting a new Scrambler back in Gotham City really, really soon here in 2020. Let's go take a look at that area, Gotham City. This is one of my favorite finds of the day. Gotham City looked a lot different back in the day. Why? Because it was called Jolly Rogers Island. Now it's the location of Gotham City. But the reason I know this is the location is because look at the trash can. It's in the same location and this path right up here. They added for theming the lamp right there, but the sign still laid there that said Jolly Rogers Island, as people still enter in and out of this great area of the park at Six Flags Over Georgia. It's crazy. It was a pirate theme back in the day, Jolly Rogers Island. Crazy. Mindbender's sign always didn't look this sexy, and might I say so myself, it is pretty attractive. This new sign is amazing, aimed towards the Riddler, but before, when the Mindbender coaster used to be a brown track painted coaster. It wasn't always as appealing. Look at the past and look at the present. As you can see, Mindbender was brown, as I mentioned. Mindbender was a brown coaster before it got its Gotham City green paint job. But if you can see, lined up here in the picture, back in the day, the sign is currently in the way, but down there, I'll take you down there in a second, but down there, 40 years ago, in 1980, there used to be a cool Coca-Cola themed drink, like Freestyle Machine, but not, back in the day. The reason I know it's at this location is it's lined up right here on the track. So line, square, and then the coaster hiding amongst the trees and the spiral staircase right there. This one was an amazing find. Back here in Gotham City, which was Jolly Roger's Island, back in 1980, which is 40 years ago, now that it is 2020. Taking a closer look, with the track right here, as I showed you, this had to be a walkway where you see the drink fountain right there. It has to be just in this area, in the vicinity, right here where there's a bench and a trash can right there, where somebody is getting a nice tasty beverage. It has to be in this area right here. Just taking a closer look, right up under the track as I get closer. Back in the day, you can still get your drinks right here, but before I would go to a cool freestyle-like machine in this area right here and get a nice Sprite, Diet Coke, or other beverages of the sort. So this was back in the 80s. Really cool. Let me know again in the comment section below if you remember this drink machine located where Gotham City is, and Mindbender passing right by. Pretty cool. Back in the day, there used to be a lot of things that were different here at Six Flags Over Georgia. From 1967 all the way to the current day. You can see this area that is now the Metropolis area of the park looked a lot different. We're gonna take a look back at the past. As you can see, in this area, you guys think right here, right now, that Justice League Battle for Metropolis is behind me. But if I turn around right here, you can see things are different. You can see cotton popping balloons. You can see Dog Days. There's Dodge City bumper cars. There's a lot of different things as I pan back here. But back to reality of today's day and age, let's continue to take a look back at the past to see where we are going. This was a picture taken in 1970 of Naylor's Plantation. But before then, in 1967, for the first year of Six Flags Over Georgia's operation, this restaurant that is known as JB's now was called the Lacey Restaurant. But after the first season, it became Naylor's Plantation all the way until 1976, when this location changed to the Plantation House. You can see things are pretty much the same, but the whole walkway area right there, the bushes are a little bit different, as they were shorter beforehand and they matched the outline of it. Just had benches lined up along there, as you can see right next to the gentleman walking by. But again, this was 1970 when this was taken. But as you can see, this new location, it's known as mentioned as JB's now. But in 2009, it was called Big Mo's. But then in 2016, for the whole new revamp, it became what is known as JB Sports Bar and Grill, as you can see right there, right now. Pretty cool. Our next location brings us to Strutter's, what is known as Strutter's new for 2019, but back in the day, it was known as the Black Friar. But then later on, it became the Whistlin' Dixie. But you guys might remember more so recently when it was known as Panda Express. But now, like I mentioned, from 2019 till the current day, it is now Strutter's. I like the old location. You can see the pathway is different now, as it's more open this day and age. But beforehand, when it was the Black Friar, it was an open building. It was open seating where you walked right in and you just enjoyed yourself and sat down. I really like that old layout, but you know, things are different nowadays. So here you have Twisted Cyclone, but before it was the Georgia Cyclone. Even more so before that, the Hanson cars. No, the Hanson cars were not always located where you think now, near Carousel Hill. If you can see right here in the picture, Hanson cars were located right here. You can see and tell things that are a little bit different, but they did change up the building structure where you enter Twisted Cyclone now. They took away that little peak right there where it said Hanson cars there prior. And then also, the gift shop was a little bit different there before. The building infrastructure looks very similar as it was before, but they did change up things. And then obviously, they've added the umbrellas out here for Johnny Rocket, which makes it look different. And then the pavement is also different, as I showed in the last video, part 1, with Georgia Cyclone. Very cool. Before Johnny Rockets came here, This location used to be home of Tondi's Tavern. You can see where the sign was just right there, along with the entranceway, and then you can see the peak of the building right there. But it is now Johnny Rockets. Our next location brings us to where the new mask-free break zone area is. It is pretty much abandoned and nothing is here. But as you can see, is lined up in this photo right here. You can see where Bugs Bunny World Theater was located. You can see it had the big Spanish theme back then. This picture is perfectly aligned with where I'm filming now. You can see the location right there. You can see the sidewalk turns, and then also the overhead area right there. But back in the day, it used to have stadium status seating. And then to walk in, you go straight in right there, and the archway was overhead that said Bugs Bunny World Theater, which is really cool. But that ended in 2015 when this whole area got a revamp for 2016. But let's go back a little bit further when this was known as the Animal Theater from 1975 to 1979. But from 1980 to 1983, this was known as the Character Theater. And then later on in 1984 to 85, it was the Hallmark's characters, the Shirt Tales, took the stage. But from 1986 to 1987, Bill Clary's Magic Show was here. But it's also located, if I'm not mistaken, back where the Gotham City area is located. But then later on in 1988, the Looney Tunes Theater took over. Until the end of 1993 and into 1994, it became the Bugs Bunny World Theater, all the way till 2015. It's just defunct now and is a mask-free break zone area right here. Crazy. What is known now as Tweety's Twee House used to be called the Seville Swings. Everything changed after 2016, but this lasted all the way till 2015. You can see the fence is a different color. They added the shrubbery right here that's blocking the outline of the building back there, the infrastructure, but now it is a mini drop tower. But to go back a little bit further to Swing Seville in 1989, which was a miniature circular swing, it later on changed to Tweety Swing in 1990, all the way to 2015, when this whole area, as mentioned prior, was changed in 2016 to what you see still to this day. Did you guys know there used to be a ride located in here, in the arcade area, in between the Justice Friends area and Bugs Bunny Boomtown? The Toro sign used to hang right there. If you can see, it looks exactly the same color scheme. This is where the arcade area is, where the Joker Funhouse coaster is. You can see it lines up perfectly with the light right there, and the pole structure. It's all the same. Toro sign hung up right there, and the ride was straight ahead in the corner. It used to be located right here in this corner, where all the arcade systems are right here. You can still see the pole that is located there, and if you can see at the top, you can see the L shape right there, and then there were doors that behind those machines right there. But it used to be right here, a little swing around, little bull ride for little kids, Toro. So I had to just touch on this again from part 1 of this. This is where the location of the horror cave was, as you can see matched up right there. But as you can see dropping right now in front of us, there's a coaster there now. But there was a giant gaping mouth there back in the day, and you can see lined up right there behind the giant mouth, the giant face, the buildings a little bit different, as they've made room and cut out a chunk from there to make room for the coaster. But you can see in the photo, people were sitting right there dining behind the giant head. But right here in front of me, around here, you can see the tombstones and the entrance right there to the horror cave. Also, I did a whole video on the history and the dynamic of this walkthrough attraction, which was a permanent walkthrough attraction here at Six Flags Over Georgia. I highly encourage you guys to check it out. It was a really good video to make, and also I think you guys would enjoy it. Things look a lot different with the upper right corner. You see Goliath going up there, but you can see what is now known as Macho Nacho used to be known as Gaslight on the Green. You can see in this photo right here, the trees have grown in that you can see right there, and it used to be an open seating. Now it is open to the left right there, as you can see the left side of the building, but it used to be fully open where you would go inside and have all the outside deck seating, and then just enjoy some wonderful food with some cool chandeliers, as you can see in the old photo, as it's matched up perfectly where I'm standing today. And you could just enjoy a wonderful, tasty meal. So as mentioned, this was known as Gaslight on the Green. That name stayed the same till 2003, but in 2004, the name changed to El Jalapeno Jr., which was an ironic and funny name, till the end of the 2006 season. But in 2007, it got a name change yet again to Los Banderas, and stayed that way till 2012. Where what you see now, it is Macho Nacho. And even during Holiday in the Park, it's usually deemed as Mrs. Claus's kitchen. Located here in this pathway, straight ahead right there, used to be a little shop right in between the pathway here. If you can see, in the left was the Last Chance Souvenir Shop, or also known as the Spindle Top, which was a whole ride in itself. But the Wooden Nickel Sign Shop in the Lick Skillet area right here, which straight ahead with this structure right here, is now known as the Scream Punk District. As this photo was taken in 1979, you can see in the right side of the photo, that little vehicle thing was there, but now it's located over there, themed towards steampunk themed for Pandemonium. But before, there used to be a little sign shop right here to the right of the Sky Buckets and to the left of the Spindle Top. Hey, check that out. Looks familiar? As shown in that picture last, it was located right over there on the corner. But now, it's right here with Pandemonium. Look at this shot right here. Just spectacular. But this was put here for 2019 season for the new Pandemonium. In 2005, Skull Island Water Park was added to my right, which was the Cotton States Exposition, and just over the horizon there, as it is a beautiful day, used to be the Southern Star Amphitheater. But later on, things changed to Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, as you can see right ahead of us. There used to be a giant skull right there where the sign of Hurricane Harbor is, and the skull that is still up there, still to this day, the eyes used to light up, which was a really cool effect in this really fun, highly themed play area, but has all these slides, a different like shop right there. But yeah, usually that area back there, Hurricane Harbor, is open later on in the season when it's a lot warmer than it is right now today. It's kind of a blurry picture, but here at the Rayburn Gap train station for Holiday in the Park, as you can see right now, is the North Pole Post Office. But back in the day, did you know that there used to be a seating area right here, as you can see in the photo? You used to be able to sit there and just relax, like before you got on the train or just in general around the park, which is very cool. Also, cool thing, fun fact, this little train right there used to be Thomas the Train, Thomas the Engine right there, that used to be back in Thomastown. Has a whole new facelift and looks different, as you can see in the front. No Thomas the Train face, but just wanted to throw that in there too as well. Now we've taken 2 trips so far back into the past, and we've had a lot of fun. But now we have come to the end of the road, of this road called nostalgia. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, but before we close out, let's take one more look back at the past to remember what the park was and aim and hope for the future of what it can become. You can see where this photo was taken back in 1970 when the Six Flags Member Lounge, which is what it's known as today, but back in 1970 it was called the Antebellum Sandwich Shop. But in 1971 they got a name change to the Good Life Sandwich Shop. But the following year, in 1972, it was deemed as just the Sandwich Shop. Then later on it became the Dixie Dog. In 1975, in the early 80s it became the Dixie Deli. In 1984 it was the Dixie Bells Restaurant. Then later on in the late 80s, in 1986 to be exact, it becomes the Dixie Bells Chicken. But to cap off the 80s, in 1988 it was later renamed to the Dixie Bells Cafe. It used to be known as Miss Dixie's Depot, where you can grab yourself some wonderful food. You can see there it said hand-rolled pretzels, popcorn pretzels, and cotton candy. But now you can go here, relax a little bit, recharge your batteries, and get a refill on your drinks. But this was very cool to see how things have changed, but the building infrastructure, a little new paint job. But I kind of like how it was before. Another restaurant here at the park. I don't know. What do you guys think? Straight ahead of me, there used to be a Looney Tunes theme fountain here that was all cracked and broken up, that the Looney Tunes characters were trying to fix it. But you can see everything looked very similar back then. This all changed at the end of the 2015 season for the 2016 season. You can see the full Spanish themed area. You can see this little door right there used to have effects where it was like the bull was inside of it and it used to rumble. It was really, really cool. But the fountain was placed just right here, which is a really cool thing if you were sitting where I'm sitting, because I'm sitting down for this shot. You can see all the flags there in the picture, which they're all gone now. Everything's a little bit different, but this is where this shot was located back in the day. So our next location brings us still in Bugs Bunny Boomtown, but now nothing is here in this location. But before, you could see it was La Cantina. But it also was called Boomtown Snacks before, but it is nothing right now. But it was located right here. In this building, you can get your snacks at La Cantina. Our next location brings us to Bugs Bunny High Sea Adventure. That back in the day, these boats were added, and they were known as the Buccaneer boats. Back in 1986 it was added, but in 1990 the name changed to Yosemite Sam's Buccaneer boats. Later in the mid-90s it was changed to the Santa Maria, as you can see in this photo right here. The little ships look a little bit different as they're painted now more colorful for Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes theme, but the picture lines up perfectly in sync as the building is the same on the side, along with the little mirror there in the back. Of course, the whole structure of the ride is the same, but the boats are a different color, the ships are different, and of course they have added Bugs Bunny there. But this ride has not been operating for a couple of years now, so quite sad to see, but it is a staple of this kids area that I hope they get it back running soon enough. The jumping frijoles was added in 1976 to the left side of the restrooms, but removed in the early 80s. So if I'm not mistaken, the restrooms are right here to the left. Would that not be where Bugs Bunny High Seas Adventures is? Let me know in the comment section down below if this indeed was the exact location where the jumping frijoles was. As the music's going in the background, and as I pan up a little bit higher, you can see the Santa Maria back in the day. The structure, the color scheme was a lot more colorful back then. There used to be a boat of the Santa Maria, Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, but now it's just no giant boat at the top. And also, it's not even operating right now, as mentioned. You guys might remember, just a few years back, this used to be the Wile E. Coyote coaster where you used to go up. It's the same thing where the Joker Funhouse coaster is now, the entrance to the queue, but they just have the velvet curtains here now. But before, they used to have like amazing theming beforehand, where they used to have rockets and other toys and stuff that Wile E. Coyote used to use. So it used to be right here located. Does anybody remember that? Wasn't that long ago, but I really liked the theming there before. But it's just like this now, I guess, for the Joker to joke around and do mischievous things. Our next location brings us to what is new for 2020, Coaster Candy Express. But the current building here that you see right in front of you was built in 1981, and it was known as the Fuzzy Farm and became the Mon Store in 1982. But later on in the late 80s and 1987, the store became the Looney Tunes Treasures. Then in the late 90s and 97, 98, it became the Six Flags Gifts. In 2009, when Monster Plantation got a makeover to change it to Monster Mansion, it was the Mon Store, where you would get out of Monster Mansion right there, or Monster Plantation beforehand, and then before that, Tales of the Okefenokee. But this half used to be the Mon Store, and the other half was Jelly Belly. Jelly Belly eventually took over the whole store, and then later on, it is now Coaster Candy Express. Weird to see, but I wish they truly did have the Mon Store still here. Also, I just wanted to mention too, there used to be a building here back when the park opened. There used to be a building here, as you can see in this photo right here. It used to be called the Sweet Tooth. It was demolished though in 1980, which made way for the Fuzzy Farm in 1981, and so on and so forth, as I just mentioned to you all. Next brings us to the observation deck / the Coca-Cola Freestyle location, one of them at least, where Thunder River Rapids currently resides. But back in the day, from 1967 to 1981, John Rabeau's River Adventure was located there. Fun fact about this ride was the old riverboat ride actually went in the opposite direction of what Thunder River Rapids goes today. Meaning it went clockwise while Thunder River Rapids goes counterclockwise. So where the Coca-Cola Freestyle / observation deck, where you can pay a small fee and squirt all the guests on the ride, where that is located, that was the loading deck for the old riverboat ride. Excuse the loud music, but back in the day in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, this used to be known as the ice cream bucket, where they had Baskin Robbins right here. But even later on, more so recently, this was up as the Lick Skillet Snacks location, but now it is absolutely nothing. And even the Primo's Pizza right here is nothing. But Miner's Cookhouse is still here, which is a whole nother story for another day. But we go back around. The ice cream bucket was right here. Who remembers that? So once upon a time, there used to be a ride here that was super unique. That used to soar high in the air and twist and turn. That was called the wheelbarrow. As you can see, that skyscraper goes up right there. As you can see in the picture right here, it was located here. You can see the shape of the building was the same. Now they sell ice cream there. And on the other side is a cute entrance to skyscraper. But back in the day, it used to be the wheelbarrow. But also here in this location, the drunken barrel was here too back in the day. As you can see, again, it was lined up here. As I stand where the picture was taken, or very close to it, this is where the drunken barrel and the wheelbarrow was back in the day. Super epic, unique rides that were very unique for its day and age. But yet again, the ice cream place is right here and Sky Screamer on the other side with Blue Hawk in the left and the horizon in the back. Now back here in what was the Cotton States Exposition, which is now the Metropolis section of the park, as you can see there used to be a guess your age and weight location right here. Was it located right here? Anybody, let me know in the comment section down below who remembers that back in the day. Now, there is another guess your own weight location, but it's back there, all the way back there in the Lick Skillet section of the park. But let me know, where was this located? As you can see in this photo right here, the guess your age and weight here at the old Cotton States Exposition. And today in the Scream Punk District, this is the only location of a guess your weight location where it is fun. It's usually open during the beginning of the seasons when it's really packed and busy. But for the new for 2020 paint job it has on there, as you can see a tree there from Holiday in the Park. But this is the location of Annie's Guess Your Weight. Oh, next on the list brings us to where Superman is located right here, right now. But back in the day, in 1995, Viper was added, but had a stint at Six Flags Over Georgia from 1995 to 2001, when it was completely raised to make way for Superman in 2002. As you can see here, matched up with this picture here in the all-new Gotham City section of the park. Sorry to speak louder, it's very loud back here as it's crowded and the music's very loud, but there used to be an arcade back here, along with the Bill Clary's Magic Show, if I'm not mistaken, was back here too as well. But you can see, you line up the bricks where the gentleman is sitting right there, don't want to point, but if I'm not mistaken, right here to the right, there was that unique Coke machine. It was kind of like a freestyle machine that had Sprite, Diet Coke, and Coca-Cola. As you can see in part one, at the end of part one of my video, I show that, which was somewhere down there near Mindbender. But yes, this is where the old arcade was. Who remembers that back in the day? Super, super cool. You can see matched up with this photo right here where this photo was taken. Things look a lot different, as what is now Birds of Prey Cafe, new for 2020, right here, used to be a lighthouse back in the day. And what that last building I showed you, the old arcade, used to be just straight ahead right there, which is really, really cool, as this area was a lot different. It was pirate themed back then, but everything got a new revamp beforehand, and also now with 2020 changes, the all new Gotham City, as you can see here, with the new paint job, a Mindbender, and all the shops, a new sign of Batman, and the new for 2020 Catwoman whip right here. So you see what this location looks like today. But back in the day, there used to be the Bicentennial Theater in 1976. The facade was then changed and a water feature ran down the building, which actually looked really, really cool. But in 1979, it changed to the Contemporary Theater and stayed that way till the mid-80s. Then changed to the Olympic Theater. Then in 1985, it changed to the Looney Tunes Theater, as you can see here. Then in the late 80s, it was changed to the Showcase Theater. But lo and behold, 1993, it changed again to the Majestic. According to my good friend Tim Campbell, who is a huge Six Flags Over Georgia history buff, he states that by 1995 that it became the Remember When Drive-In. Who remembers that? Let me know in the comment section down below. But by 1998, the name was shortened and just named Drive-In Theater. It remained the same till 2009 and was demolished in 2010 to make way for the new for 2011 Daredevil Dive. Along with that, in that area, the Chevy Show was located here in the 1970s. Then also at some point in the 70s became the Chevy Cinema. But from 1996 to 1998, it became the Plymouth Show, then the USA Theater from 99 to 2003. The plot of land then became most famous for Shake, Rattle, and Roll, which was a nicely themed indoor scrambler that lasted from 2004 to 2010, in which the ride came from Six Flags Great Adventure. Lastly, the ride was demolished in 2010 as well to make room for Daredevil Dive as well. Super sad to see that happen, but you can indeed see the scrambler still in a way in the all-new Gotham City section of the park, with the new smell and coat of paint on it for the new for 2020 Poison Ivy Toxic Spin. Who else misses Shake, Rattle, and Roll? Woo! Back to reality, guys. Back to reality.